This video is brought to you by
Cool Grain Clothing. We done gone worldwide and we coming straight out of Baltimore. Come on down, shop with us at 215 West Saratoga Street. And if you can't come and shop with us in person, go online right now at coolgrainclothing.com and make your purchase. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way, and that's just basic.
What's going on YouTube, fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For the day one, fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel or you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. Y'all bear with me a little bit. I'm a little under the weather. Y'all know the season's changing, so if I sound a little off, that's the reason. But let's get right into the story. Some people are happy with just maintaining in life. What do I mean by that? They find a job or career, get paid every week or two, get an apartment or a decent house, and work hard every day to grow at their company in hopes of one day being able to retire and be financially stable. That's majority of the world, and there's definitely nothing wrong with that. That's living safe. You don't have to worry about prison or looking over your shoulders, because what I just explained is a law-abiding citizen. But on the flip side of that, you have people that just don't have the patience to work a regular 9 to 5. They want their money fast, whether a scammer that cracks cards or somebody that decides to hit the block and sell grams. That's because they want a certain kind of lifestyle they feel a job can't provide. But it's definitely consequences to those actions. The higher you get in the streets, the more the risk and the consequences are. If you come from a certain environment that most of us know, it's way easier to get a pack, go to the block, than wake up every day, punch a clock, listen to somebody telling you what to do, and waiting for a paycheck. It's the instant gratification of that fast money that keeps people stuck. That's why you will see somebody 50 plus still on the block trapping with the hoppers, talking about how much money was around in the 80s. They become lost in the sauce. But one thing about the streets, players change, and even though some say it don't, the rules definitely change. The streets never forget, and the fast lifestyle can catch up with you. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we'll be discussing the case of a former Kingpin that got ambushed just months after being released from prison. Back in 2023, 54-year-old Frank Eubanks Jr. was navigating life in Baltimore. Frank had been through a lot, and some people would consider the man an OG, or somebody that had been in the streets a long time and reaped the benefits of the lifestyle. Let's rewind back to the early 2000s. Young Frank in his early 30s was what some will call a plug. He had built a team that had set up smack shops all through the city. Frank would go up top to New York, cop bricks for a cheap price, and bring them back to Baltimore to either sell weight or break the work down and let his hitters serve on the block. The operation was jamming to the point it was said him and his lieutenant and their main shop runner was making over $200,000 a week. Enough money for BPD to start paying attention. They zoomed in on Frank and considered him the leader of the organization and brought the DEA in and started a wiretap on the organization's phone. They picked up on the lingo quick that they called the grams of boy t-shirts or tickets. In one conversation, Frank could be heard saying, "I got too many oil tickets. I need to get some of them off right now." It didn't take long to build the case, and in 2003, him and 2 others would get hit with possession, conspiracy, and other charges in reference to the operation. Frank and his 2 partners would all plead guilty on the state level. The case never went fed. Still considered a kingpin, Frank received the most time out of all of them, 20 years in prison. After hitting 14 years with good time, he had took time off his release date, and by 2017, Frank was back uptown, a free man, and was back in the city. It wouldn't last long though. By 2018, he would get jammed up again. This time, on being a convicted felon in possession of a handgun. He would get hit with a pound or 5 years with no parole. Again, Frank would be released early after only serving 2.5 years. Now 54 years old and back in the streets, it's not clear how he made his money, but he had a brand new Jeep, a $400,000 home in Baltimore County, and some speculated that the man was still dibbling and dabbling in the drug game to maintain his lifestyle. He would often visit his favorite spot in which he was a regular at, City View Bar and Grill in Woodlawn, Baltimore County. He would go eat, have a few drinks, and always tip good. None of the workers knew what Frank did for a living or knew anything about his past. They only knew he was a cool older guy that looked out for them. On June 1st, 2023, Frank did his regular routine. He left his house and went to the restaurant. He had came by himself, as he often did. He did his normal 1-2 and left the spot about 10:25 p.m. Only living 15 minutes away, Frank usually hung out in the spot close to closing, which was at 11 p.m. As he went to get in his Jeep, multiple shots went off, striking the man multiple times. Baltimore County police was called to the location, and when they arrived, they found Frank in the parking lot suffering from multiple gunshot wounds, laying by his car. He was rushed to a local hospital, but unfortunately, he wouldn't survive his injuries. As police went back to the spot the next day to talk to the employees, everyone claimed Frank was a good customer, but they had no idea what he was into, especially to make somebody lay in wait and ambush the man. Detectives noticed a camera right above the place where Frank was shot at, but they still had no suspects or leads. After digging into Frank's background, they realized he had just got released from prison 6 months prior from the gun charge in December. They also realized he had a previous case from the early 2000s in which he was labeled a kingpin and a big figure in the city. Police wondered, was it some kind of get back for something old that Frank was into, or was he still in the mix and stepped on somebody's toes? As time went on, Baltimore County police linked the video footage to a young man whose name was already ringing in another case in the city, 27-year-old D'Angelo Fulton, who was already locked up for an attempt, reckless endangerment, and a gun charge from a previous shooting at a Marathon gas station on Orleans Street. This situation allegedly showed D'Angelo on video again shooting from his car. Already in a jam, he was hit with the murder of Frank, in which in the case is still no motive. In the gas station situation, D'Angelo would take a plea and plead guilty, but he also claimed it was self-defense. He was given 18 years, all but 7 suspended for first-degree assault, with 5 years to run concurrent for the gun charge. As of now, his case against Frank hasn't made his way to trial yet, and he is innocent until proven otherwise. Rest in peace to Frank. I send my prayers and condolences to his family. I'm not sure if in his 50s he was still pulling strings in the streets, but I can say old habits die hard, especially when you know you can make over $100,000 a week just by putting plays together. But like I said earlier, the rules change and also the players change. In 2023 Baltimore is a lot different from when Frank was out in 2002. Unfortunately, we hear this all the time about guys that come home after doing long bids or being in and out of prison and somebody takes their life. And usually the person is way younger than them. Most of the times because generations clash. But in this situation, a motive was never given. I'm gonna let y'all tell me what y'all think the reason was for Frank losing his life. Do you think it was the streets that caught up with him? Or do you think Unc was still willing and dealing? Let me know in the comments. Yeah, man, crazy story. It's sad to say, but sometimes people be safer and better off in prison, especially if you got a name out here. You never know who you offended in the past when you was in the streets, who you rubbed the wrong way, or like I said, it could have been something new. But yeah, I ain't gonna talk too much more about this one. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. This is another episode of the Baltimore Way. It's your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam. I'm out.